Morning. I am Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Blaine Bushnell, and I am the Page High JROTC Cadet Battalion Commander. Welcome to today's ceremony, and thank you for attending. I am honored to be speaking with you today on such a great occasion. We are here today to pay tribute to our community's military service members, past and present, and to recognize the sacrifices that they made to fulfill their obligation of duty, honor, and country. Today we remember the courageous men and women that took a sacred oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We recognize those that chose freely to serve our country. We remember the ones who have served, and we pay tribute to those who laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. And ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the posting of the national colors and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by the Page High School Choir under the direction of Ms. Molly Gillespie.
Battalion! Attention! Colors post!
Color guard, forward, march!
The honor guard is commanded by Cadet Major Adam Monk. The Tennessee flag is Cadet Second Lieutenant Joe Tomlinson. The honor guard is guarded by Cadet Staff Sergeant Adam Jackson and Cadet Private Zach Izzy.
Present. Colors. Sir, this is Cadet Major Adam Monk from Page High School Junior ROTC. Requesting permission to post the colors, sir.
Post colors.
Thank you. Sir, order. Colors. Right. Place. Forward. March. On left. March. On left. March. Up time. March. Color guard. Halt. Right. Face. Post. Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Left. Face. Color guard. Reform. Forward. March. Come left. March.
Present! Present! Arms!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we marched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets went there, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order! Order! Arms! Take seats!
Thank you. Please be seated. On the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, an armistice was declared between the Allied nations and Germany, bringing an end to the Great War, more commonly known as World War I. November 11th of the following year was then recognized as Armistice Day. However, in 1954, a congressional decision ruled that November 11th instead be celebrated as Veterans Day, or a day to remember all those who have served our great country. We continue that tradition here today. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Page High School faculty member and Army veteran, Mr. Kenny Rudin.
Good morning, Page High. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to our Veterans Day program. Page High School has a long tradition of service to our school, our community, and our country. We have years of alumni who have served and continue to serve. It is our honor to recognize the veterans who have joined us here today. We have in the audience veterans and guests from American Legion Post 215 and Post 22 in Franklin, veterans from the 50 Forward Community Center in College Grove, and veteran members of the Page High families. Our Page community veterans span all 5 of our service branches. Behind every veteran is a family. I would like to take a moment to recognize all of our military families. You are the unsung heroes behind our men and women in uniform. Thank you for your service, your support, your love, and your sacrifice. I'd also like to welcome the honored guest seated to my left, Williamson County Superintendent Dr. Jason Golden, Williamson County Board members, Vice Chairman and 12th District Member Nancy Garrett, 4th District Member Brad Fiskus, Williamson County Sheriff Dusty Rhodes, and our guest speaker, Professor of Military Science at MTSU, Lieutenant Colonel Carrick McCarthy. In order to recognize our veterans from each of the services, our band, under the direction of Michael Rawson, has prepared a medley of the service songs. As the band plays the Armed Forces Salute, we would like to ask all of our veterans in our audience to please be ready to stand as we call your branch name as your service songs play. Students, listen carefully. This includes you. If you have a family member who is a veteran or currently serving, please stand for their branch of the military as well. Army. Coast Guard. Marines. Air Force. Navy. It is my privilege at this time to welcome our guest of honor, a native of Nolensville, Tennessee, Lieutenant Colonel Carrick McCarthy, graduated from Page High School in 1998. He then enrolled in the United States Military Academy at West Point. Lieutenant Colonel McCarthy was commissioned into the Army on 1 June 2002 as a military police officer. His military training includes the Military Police Officer Basic Course, Military Police Captain's Career Course, the Command and General Staff College, Airborne School, Jump Master School, and Air Assault School. His overseas deployments include 2 tours in Iraq and 1 tour in Afghanistan. Lieutenant Colonel McCarthy has served in the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the 561st Military Police Company, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 525th Military Police Detention Battalion, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and the University of Alabama, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He currently serves as the Professor of Military Science at Middle Tennessee State University. Lieutenant Colonel McCarthy holds a Bachelor of Science degree in American Politics from the United States Military Academy at West Point, a Master of Science degree in Business and Organizational Security from Webster University, and a Master of Science degree in Criminal Justice from the University of Colorado, Denver. Lieutenant Colonel McCarthy is married to the former Katie Shalaga, a 2001 graduate of Page High School and a 2004 graduate of Middle Tennessee State University. They have 3 children, Kevin, Emery, and Caleb. Please help me welcome Lieutenant Colonel McCarthy.
warm welcome. Before we begin, can we do another round of applause for the band? My wife was actually in the band when she was here at Page High School, and I don't remember them sounding that good, so good job. Let's not tell her I said that, though, right? Dr. Golden, Dr. Pantal, County School Board members, Sheriff Rhodes, veterans, and fellow patriots, thank you for having me here today. I'm truly humbled to be standing before you this morning on such a remarkable occasion to remember our nation's veterans. I'd like to say a special thank you to the Page High faculty and administration. I know you have a lot of competing demands on these students' time and attention, and I'm grateful that you have found the time to remember our veteran community. I think it will be a worthwhile investment in the long run. It's such an honor to be here to be able to participate in this ceremony this morning. Each year, communities across the nation set aside a day to celebrate and pay tribute to America's veterans for their devotion, patriotism, selfless service, and sacrifice on behalf of us all. Their loyalty to our country and their great courage have made us what we are today, and what we have been for more than 2 centuries, a beacon of hope in an increasingly complex world. As you heard the brief history of this occasion, Veterans Day began on what was supposed to be the war to end all wars. Unfortunately for us, World War I did not end all wars. In fact, there have been far too many wars for us to remember each one in a manner befitting of the sacrifice they demanded. But thankfully, our nation does pause each November to honor the men and women who raised their right hand, fully understanding the sacrifices that their nation was asking of them, and yet despite those sacrifices, chose to go anyway. So I'd like to spend some time talking about who our veterans are, why it's important for us all to remember them, and how we can honor their service and their sacrifice in a manner befitting their status as our nation's most treasured asset. I've spent every year since my time here at Page High School immersed in the military culture, so I've learned a few things about my brothers and sisters in arms. First, these are men and women who answered a higher calling. They left their homes seeking nobility and purpose in their lives, and they found it in the ranks of the military. They didn't join for the money, for most of them could earn far more in the civilian world. And they didn't join for the fame, as most of them will remain nameless except in the minds of their friends and family. And they didn't join to ensure themselves an easy life. Military life is quite difficult for both the service member and their families. They joined because they wanted to be part of something bigger than themselves. They saw what is required to keep this nation free, and they raised their right hand and said, "Send me." These men and women voluntarily put themselves in harm's way, prepared to die so that we may rest secured at home. They were the insurance policy that guarantees that our founding documents, our God-given rights, are more worthy than their own tomorrows. They are citizens of the United States, and they treasure this land more than any overseas posting. The military provided them with purpose and appreciation for the blessing that America has bestowed on us all. They are forever grateful to the military for allowing them to count and cherish those blessings in a way that is unique to most, but common to those who wear the uniform. Our nation's veterans are deeply committed to the success of the American idea, because for a large part of them, they've seen the despair that makes up other parts of the world. And they know how uniquely special this country, with its guaranteed liberties, truly is. They are fiercely loyal, not only to this nation, but to their brother and sister in arms, who they learn to rely on for their own success, and in some cases, even their own survival. This instinct stays with them long after they've taken off the uniform. Veterans make up every race, gender, socioeconomic status, and political affiliation. Yet they are bonded by their service above all of that. In a society divided by everything we can think to divide ourselves, veterans look to their common experience and purpose to unite them. The warrior of Fallujah can find common identity with the Marine of Iwo Jima and the doughboy of World War I. Despite their exalting characteristics of nobility, valor, and honor, they will often shy away from the limelight, choosing to go unrecognized and underappreciated for their service. You may notice them only by identifying their Union t-shirt or baseball cap. Some bear the scars of war, which you can easily identify through missing limbs or scarred faces. Others bear scars you cannot see. They have borne witness to all aspects of the human condition, for war reveals the darkest aspects of the human soul. There's a greater probability that the veteran you meet at the grocery store will only be a few years older than you. Well over 2 million men and women have served in the conflicts of Iraq and Afghanistan since 9/11. We as a nation have been at war for over 18 years, and today's veteran has probably endured numerous deployments away from their family. It's important for you to remember that, because you will not see it in the news, and we no longer talk about it as a society. In fact, the burden of service in the military is undertaken by fewer than 1% of Americans, and that service is increasingly borne by men and women who come from families that have served. So now that I've described who our veteran community is, let me tell you why I think it's important to remember them. First, the type of citizen I just described is worth recognition. They have earned it through the blood, sweat, and tears that they have shed in service. They've laid their lives down on the line, as well as the future they could otherwise have with their families, for the sake of this nation, for the sake of you. I think it's important we spend some time as a society reflecting on that. I'd also argue that a healthy respect for our warriors, our citizen soldiers, is fundamental to who we as a nation should strive to be. It was President Calvin Coolidge that once said, "The nation which forgets its defenders will itself be forgotten." Finally, you may be asking yourself what you as a young high school student can do to show your respect and appreciation to these men and women. First, I'll say the simplest thank you will go a long way to showing them that we as a society have not forgotten them, that we haven't taken them for granted. But I'd argue for a better way for you to honor them is to grow up and be good citizens. Make their sacrifice worth it. Make them proud to know that the service they gave granted you the freedom and liberty that you then use to make this nation better. So I challenge you this weekend, on Monday, and throughout the year, to remember these men and women before you, and others like them, for they are the heart, soul, and spirit of this great nation. Again, Dr. Pantal, thank you for having me here today. It's been an honor to stand before these veterans and your students and share my thoughts on this occasion. May God bless America. Thank you.
Wow. Get another round of applause for Lieutenant Colonel McCarthy. Thank you, sir, for your remarks and for your continued service to both our country and our community. Now, written in 1893, America the Beautiful has become one of the most iconic songs to represent America, referring not only to the natural beauty of the American landscape, but also referencing America as a land of opportunity for any and everyone. Most countries around the world can't offer the same opportunity or the same freedoms, let alone both. and I can proudly say that America is the only country where the tired, the poor, and the huddled masses who yearn for freedom can come for a better opportunity. Therefore, we must give our deepest gratitude to all those who have served and sacrificed to protect it. And now, the Page High Band and Choir will present America Beautiful.
I would just like to take a moment to recognize the Page High School community. When we discussed this at the beginning of the year about doing a Veterans Day Assembly, the amount of support that we got from extracurricular groups, administration, faculty, students, was just immense. I mean, if we could do everything that we discussed that we were going to do, we'd be here till 3 o'clock, so we don't want to keep you that long. But I just want to just give a quick shout out to groups and people that really helped make today happen. Obviously the band did amazing today. The choir, our JROTC, Colonel Kozlowski, Mr. White's engineering classes, the FFA, TV and film, the National Art Honor Society, individuals like Ms. Hogue, Ms. Davis, Ms. Vitucci, the Interact Club, DECA, all of our primetime teachers who passed out dog tags and talked to their primetimes about honoring veterans. To my psychology class for cutting out the dog tags. All the faculty, staff, students that filled out those dog tags and just tried to recognize these veterans, thank you, you did an excellent job.
If I could ask that we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the retirement of colors.
Battalion! Company! Attention!
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Command Sergeant Major, retire the colors.
Colors up! Color guard, footwork, march! Color guard, halt! Present, arms! Sir, this is Cadet Major Adam Young from Page High School Junior ROTC. Requesting permission to retire the colors, sir.
Retire the colors.
Thank you, sir. Order, arms! Right, face. Forward, march. On left, march. On left, march. Up time, march. Color guard, halt. Right, face. Present. Arms. Present. Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Post. Center. Face. Forward. March. Post. Forward. March. Order! Order! Arms! Hurry! Hurry! Press!
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for helping us honor our veterans today, and thank you to the veterans for your service and sacrifice. Here in the Page community, there are many veterans who have served and continue to serve today, and it has been an honor to recognize them. Veterans and honored guests, please join us for a reception in the library once the ceremony has concluded. And students, please remain in your seats until veterans and guests have departed. Students may sit.
Thank you.